Welcome back to my channel, Dark Hollywood Chapters that I'm looking at with you. Today I'm going to talk to you about Merle Oberon, one of the most beautiful and iconic actresses of the 20th century. But before that, for those who are new to my channel, I post videos on Tuesdays and Sundays on true crime, on celebrity gossip, and other social issues that I would love to share with you. And if you like my video, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and please leave a comment in the comment box below. I love reading your phenomenal comments, and you guys are awesome too. Merle Oberon, one of the most beautiful stars, as I said, should be remembered for her beauty, her talent, and her struggles, because her story is full of cover-ups, secrets, ups and downs, lots of disappointments, and failed relationships. Let's remember her beauty, her courage, and her contributions to the cinema. Alright guys, here we go. I decided to take in your request of looking into the darkness and sorrow and emotional torture that many stars of Hollywood undergo at some time in their lives, making Hollywood a petri dish of tragedy, violence, and misery. I am bringing you the story of British actress Merle Oberon, who began her film career in British films as Anne Boleyn in The Private Life of Henry VIII, before she traveled to the United States to make films for Samuel Goldwyn. Here are some pictures of Merle Oberon. Take a look. Merle was even nominated for an Academy Award for the Best Actress for her performance in The Dark Angel in 1935, a film which portrayed the story of three childhood friends, two male and one female. When they grew up into adulthood, the woman chooses to marry one of the two men. The other, enraged by thoughts of jealousy, sends his rival off into a dangerous situation during wartime. The film starred Frederick March, Merle Oberon, and Herbert Marshall. Here we go. Merle Oberon. Merle Oberon, born Estelle Merle O'Brien Thompson, was born on 19th February 1911 in Bombay, British India, to a 12-year-old mother whose name was Constance. The identity of Merle's biological father is unknown. Merle's nickname was Queenie in honor of Queen Mary, who visited India along with King George V in 1911. Merle Oberon protected her real birth information as much as she could by concealing the truth about her parentage, claiming that she had been born in Tasmania, Australia, and that her birth records had been destroyed in a fire. Merle's birth certificate gave Merle's father as Arthur Terence O'Brien Thompson, a British mechanical engineer from Darlington who worked in Indian Railways. Her mother was listed as Scarlet Pimpernel, an Eurasian who came from a little island off the southern tip of India. The island was then called Ceylon, now Sri Lanka. Who was a Eurasian? The term Eurasian was first coined in mid-19th century British India. There are a group of people in India today known as Anglo-Indians. Eurasian was a term originally used to refer to Anglo-Indians, people of mixed British and Indian descent. I told you that Merle's biological mother was Constance and that she was only 12 years old. She is also believed to have had a Maori mix as well. The Maoris, as you know, are the indigenous Polynesian people of mainland New Zealand and originated with settlers from eastern Polynesia who arrived in New Zealand in several waves of waka canoe voyages between roughly 1320 and 1350. I believe you'll love to see these pictures. Back to Merle's birth story. To avoid scandal, her grandmother Charlotte decided to raise Merle as her daughter instead of her granddaughter. Therefore, Merle grew up as Constance's sister. Her real mother was Constance. As Constance's sister, who was only 12 years old than herself. Charlotte, as I said before, listed her partner Arthur Thompson as Merle's father on her birth certificate. Mari Jalowski, the creator of the 2002 documentary The Trouble with Merle, produced by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, investigated the various conflicting versions of Merle's origin.
India, a land of majestic wonders, hidden mysteries, exotic traditions, where an ancient world coexisted with a modern empire, and the child they called Queenie could never belong.
I'm sorry, my dear. I'm afraid you have to leave. You know the rules. Whites only.
They know about me.
What do they know?
That I'm part black.
New Zealand author Witi Ihimera uses Oberon's hidden Maori and non-white heritage as the inspiration for the novel White Lies. Take a look. Witi Ihimera's book was turned into the 2013 movie White Lies. Merle Oberon got an opportunity to travel to Europe and got a role in the movie The Three Passions. She arrived in England for the first time in 1928, aged 17. Initially, Merle worked as a club hostess under the name Queenie O'Brien and played in minor and unbilled roles in various films. I couldn't dance or sing or write or paint. The only possible opening seemed to be in some line in which I could use my face. This was, in fact, no better than 100 other faces, but it did possess a fortunately photogenic quality. Her words. She is reported to have said this to a journalist at Film Weekly in 1939. Merle went on concealing her real origins and pretended she was born in Australia to white parents. Merle fell in and out of love many times. Here is British actor David Niven and Merle Oberon. These are very beautiful photos, guys. Around the 1930s, she had a serious romance with David Niven, and according to one biographer, even wanted to marry him, but he was not faithful to her. Merle was devastated. Merle Oberon's film career received a major boost when the director Alexander Korda took an interest in her and gave her a small but prominent role as Anne Boleyn in The Private Life of Henry VIII in 1933, opposite Charles Lawton. The film became a major success and she was selected for leading roles such as Lady Blakeney in The Scarlet Pimpernel, 1934, with Leslie Howard, who also became her lover for a while. Oberon married director Alexander Korda and her film career thrived. She appeared as Kathy in the highly acclaimed film Wuthering Heights opposite Laurence Olivier, 1939. According to the biography written by Charles Higham with Roy Mosley on Oberon, called Princess Merle, she suffered damage to her complexion in 1940 from a combination of cosmetic poisoning and an allergic reaction to sulfur drugs. Alexander Korda sent her to a skin specialist in New York City, where she underwent treatment that did not really give good results, and without makeup, the skin did not look good at all. Merle Oberon's relationships did not work out well. I said earlier that she married director Alexander Korda in 1939, and while being married to him, she had a brief affair in 1941 with Richard Hillary, an RAF fighter pilot who had been badly burnt in the Battle of Britain. Oberon had an on-again, off-again affair with actor John Wayne from 1938 to 1947. In 1937, the Wednesday on St. Patrick's Day, Merle Oberon met with a horrific car accident where Oberon was a passenger in the rear of the car, which was struck by another car. She suffered severe injuries on the right side of her face and behind her ear. However, it was reported that she wouldn't suffer any disfigurement. Now, that could just be the public relations machine at work. Or maybe that her injuries became even more severe. The scars became worse over time. Oberon became Lady Korda when her husband was knighted in 1942 by George VI for his contribution to the war effort. She divorced him in 1945. There came a roller coaster of relationships that were on and off and seemed to have been tumultuous, riotous, and turbulent. She married cinematographer Lucien Bellart, and they divorced shortly afterwards. Oberon next married Italian-born industrialist Bruno Pagliai in 1957, adopted 2 children with him, and lived in Mexico. In 1973, Oberon met then 36-year-old Dutch actor Robert Wolders while they filmed Interval. Oberon divorced Pagliai and married Wolders, who was 25 years her junior, in 1975. Wolders was the 4th husband of the actress and was married to her for about 4 years until her death. They starred opposite each other as lovers in the May-September romantic drama Interval, 1973, her final film. Merle Oberon went through 4 husbands and several other failed romantic relationships as well. Her life was one roller coaster of disappointments, one after the other, where her failed relationships just made her more and more miserable. Merle's ex-husband Korda's son, Michael Korda, wrote a roman clef about her entitled Queenie in 1985. It was made into a mini-series in 1987. It was notably criticized for being trashy and for its racial insensitivity. The true saga of her life had Merle Oberon's glitter as a star clouded and shrouded by darkness. Let's go back a little. As a kid, she went through the nightmarish experiences of being bullied relentlessly at La Martiniere Kolkata School for Girls. Kids, as you know, can be very cruel, and they know what to say to cut the deepest. They ridiculed her and targeted her home life. She had no father anymore, and her single mother was poor and a woman of color. Heartbreak, struggle, failed relationships, the dark secret about her birth details, and that her sister was really her mother, that Oberon tried so hard to hide until the day she died, must have been a terrible emotional burden on her. In her lifetime, which spanned 68 years, I believe Merle Oberon lived 1,000 lives, most of them stressed, rejected, sad, and with terrible disappointments. Her devastating beauty propelled her to stardom, and after her death, her truth was finally exposed. India-born exotic beauty, Merle Oberon. One of the biggest movie stars of the 1930s, Hollywood's first Indian actress, died in 1979 from stroke complications at the age of 68. That's it from me tonight, guys. Good night.